Neuro what? I know it sounds a little confusing right now, but I promise over the next 3 to 4 minutes, we will break down exactly what neurodiversity is, what conditions it includes, and most importantly, how it affects your workplace. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what is neurodiversity? Well, the actual definition of neurodiversity is the range of differences in an individual brain and behavioral traits regarded as a normal variation in the human population. So, neurodiversity is actually a relatively new term. It was actually coined by Judy Singer back in the 1990s, and she wanted to give people's natural variations in their brains more of a positive light. So she coined this term, and it's really taken off from there. But if you haven't heard of it before, it's not necessarily a surprise either. So it really celebrates the positive differences within each of our brains. We know that each of our brains are different, but certainly neurodiversity is maybe the next level of that difference. The neurodiversity name has certainly gained popularity within the autism community, most notably in the last 20 to 30 years. However, neurodiversity really covers a host of neurological conditions, including dyslexia, dyspraxia, Tourette's, tics, and ADHD. So it covers a lot of different neurological conditions, but those are the most common, including autism. While we tend to hear more about autism and ADHD through our media and different information sources, most people don't know that dyslexia is actually the most prevalent. So dyslexia affects between 15 and 20% of the workforce population in the United States. It's also common for people to have more than one of these conditions. For example, hi, I'm Nancy. I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD. So what does science tell us about neurodiversity and how our brains are wired? The best way that I can explain it to my clients is think of a neighborhood with telephone poles and wires connecting those telephone poles together. A neurotypical brain will act as those transmitting wires going from parts of the brain to the other parts of the brain in a fairly typical fashion. Same process, same kind of line of thought. In a neurodiverse brain, they're different. Those telephone poles can be very close together or they can be very spread apart. If they're more spread apart, that wire tends to meander along a little bit and take a little bit longer to get to the next pole. And when they're closer together, that information processing is very quick and very direct and happens in a very succinct manner. So those are the differences in neurodiverse brains. They look different in fMRI images. You can actually see the differences of how information is processed. And with that information processing, it looks different on the outside too. So behaviors are different, communication styles are different, and learning styles are different too. So all things we need to take into account when we're looking at a workplace and making it more friendly for neurodiverse people. We know from our DE&I studies that diverse teams tend to produce better results, right? So neurodiverse teams aren't any different. They're more agile, they're more innovative, they tend to come up with more creative solutions to problems, and they have better retention rates, all winning factors in an organization. Neurodiverse people also bring a host of skills that employers are seeking. So dyslexic people, for example, are 80% above average when it comes to connecting with people, leading and influencing people, spotting unique patterns, and coming up with creative, innovative solutions to problems, which all sound like positives. Also, people with autism have been found to be more productive. They're great with timelines, sorting a great amount of detail within their work, and really digging into tasks that require a lot of focus more than the neurotypical person. I hope this video is helpful and you now have a better understanding of neurodiversity. I would love to connect with you and talk more about how we can make your workplace a better place for everyone to work.